The Trump voting state of Iowa is not doing so well under the president's own policies. Gee, who could have seen that one coming? Except everyone. Now, how bad is it getting? Well, in the first quarter of 2025, the rural state's GDP dropped by 6.1%. Not good. That's actually the second worst in the country, behind only Nebraska. Ooh, Nebraska. Also not doing so well. Now, one Iowa farming family spoke to the New York Times and said, quote, "Right now, we're fighting different economic wars all at once." He said you can sustain it one at a time, but right now it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. Many of them, of course, being self-inflicted. Just saying. Again, they voted for Donald Trump, who said mass deportations, who did trade wars, and that's, of course, what we got now. More of that. Wow. Without, of course, realizing that, oops, oh, turns out that stuff's going to affect us. Yeah, it is. The trade war, for example, had led to China not buying U.S.-grown soybeans, okay, which was a major export for farmers in Iowa. In 2024 alone, Iowa exported $12.6 billion worth of soybeans to China. Okay, that helps the farmers. Now, it's funny because Trump's talking about, oh, now we're going to have a deal, right? We're going to have a deal with China. We got a deal. Okay, even if that's true, okay, which farmers have seen the deal, and so far they're not really impressed with it, all right? Even though we have that, that doesn't mean the exports are going to come back. That $12.6 billion, it ain't coming back. Not immediately, and might not ever really come back. China, they've already arranged for new buyers. For example, Argentina, right? Argentina also getting a bailout that could be around $40 billion. In fact, one Iowa farmer asked of the bailout, hey, who are you subsidizing? Our competitors or us? Well, I think we already know the answer to that one. Okay, dude's helping out his buddy Javier Milei and his libertarian economic experiment. Now, wait a minute. Libertarian, isn't that supposed to not have government subsidies? I mean, look, our tax money is being diverted into subsidizing Argentina's so-called free market. Not so much of a free market if it needs government handouts. Speaking of handouts, farmers, they're going to need one real soon. In fact, Iowa Soybean Association Chief Kirk Leeds said of the trade situation, quote, "I'm not exactly sure how we repair some of these relationships. This is as challenging as I've seen it. We've got uncertainties beyond compare." Yes. Now, add, of course, to the fact that these farmers no longer have a market to sell their soybeans, the costs to grow those soybeans have actually gone up. Fertilizer is up 14%. Tariffs, of course, have pushed equipment costs up across the board. Look, John Deere alone, major manufacturer of farm equipment, has taken a $300 million hit as a result of the tariffs on steel and aluminum. They've had hundreds of layoffs, and they're not the only one. Layoffs are hitting everywhere. And then, of course, there's the anti-immigration stuff, which is affecting meatpacking plants that are essential to Iowa's pork industry. They rely on immigrant labor. However, hundreds of legal workers, okay, these are not undocumented, all right? These are legal workers from Haiti, Cuba, El Salvador, and Honduras have lost their legal status thanks to Trump. So he took away their legal status, making them undocumented. And then, well, they got to leave. They're gone. You know what that means? No workers. No workers. In fact, one Iowa economist said this, quote, "It's difficult to find domestic workers who can take these jobs. It's not costless to replace that number of workers. Well, now wait a minute. Where are the Americans who are supposed to take over those jobs? Oh, right. There's not enough of us. There really isn't. Look, a lot of the people who could do these jobs are not sitting there living in the middle of Iowa. They're in the cities. They're in the colleges. They're learning tech and they're learning finance. They're not going to go back to Iowa to work at a meatpacking plant for substandard wages. Are you kidding me? That's not going to happen. That's not reality. Well, what about the work requirements for people on Medicaid and SNAP? We can get those lazy people in the factories. Except that that's not going to happen either. Because most of the people that are on that program already work. All right? Either that or their children or the disabled. What, are you going to make the children go into the factories? Well, they actually kind of already have. There were undocumented children that were also caught in some of these meatpacking plants. So there you go. Now look, Trump's immigration policies and pushing out all the immigrants, it's creating a massive labor shortage. That there's just not enough people to fill. And if that's not enough, there's another problem for people in Iowa. And that's renewable energy. Something that obviously Donald Trump and the Republicans both despise and are attacking. All right. Now, Iowa just happens to be a leader in wind energy production. That's right. Conservative Trump voting Iowa actually loves their windmills. They love the windmills. They had a booming alternative energy sector in wind. Now, of course, we all know Trump hates windmills. Okay, he seems to have a really weird personal beef with windmills. I mean, he hates them. He hates them. Speaking of beef, by the way, I did mention that. Ranchers are also being completely fucked by this administration. Since now, this administration is going to be buying Argentine beef, which may or may not be filled with poisons or parasites, or just maybe poop and sawdust. Because Malay's government does not believe in regulating business. They are, as I mentioned, libertarian. What happens when libertarians take over? They deregulate the hell out of everything. And so therefore, you're very likely to find poop or sawdust in your Argentine beef. Good job. Look, Iowa voted for Trump because he made a whole bunch of promises that he had never intended to keep. We know that. He does not care about the people there. He just needed their vote, and he got it. And in return, they received a GDP drop of 6.1%. Their $12.6 billion soybean export market vanished. Their costs went up. Their jobs disappeared. Immigrant labor was forced out, while their global competitors got a subsidy with our cash. I don't know about you, but to me, that sure doesn't scream America first. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.